You woke up this morning and the first thing you did was check your phone. Before you got out of bed, before you brushed your teeth, before you said a single word to another human being, you ate food that was engineered in a laboratory to make you eat more than your body needs. You watched content that was designed by algorithms specifically to keep you watching longer than you planned. And you lived inside a system, a billion-dollar system, that was built with one single purpose: to keep you weak, distracted, and completely dependent. This video is not going to be comfortable, but if you stay until the end, your life will never look the same again. INTRO, let me ask you something honest. When was the last time you were truly bored? Not bored and reaching for your phone. Actually, genuinely, sitting in complete silence with nothing but your own thoughts? You probably cannot remember. And that is not a coincidence. The modern world has made absolutely sure that you are never left alone with your mind. Because a person who can sit in silence and think clearly is the most dangerous person, alive to the system that profits from your distraction. A person who thinks clearly cannot be easily controlled, cannot be easily sold to, cannot be easily managed, and the system cannot afford that. Chapter 1: How they broke why. Oh, this did not happen to you overnight. It started when you were a child. The screens were placed in front of you before you could even read. The sugar and the salt and the processed food were handed to you before your taste buds had a chance to develop preferences of their own. The entertainment was made so easy and so constant that the idea of sitting with boredom, the very boredom that breeds creativity and deep thinking, became intolerable. Before you were even 10 years old, the junk food you grew up eating was not created by accident. It was engineered in laboratories with exact combinations of salt, sugar, and fat designed specifically to override your body's natural signals that say stop eating. Scientists spent years perfecting the bliss point, the precise formula that makes you keep eating past the point of fullness every single time. Not because the food tastes good, because it was built to be impossible to stop. The apps on your phone were not built by idealists who wanted to connect the world. They were built by teams of behavioral scientists, psychologists, and former casino designers who studied the exact psychological triggers that make gambling addictive, and then embedded those same triggers into the interface you carry in your pocket 24 hours a day. The variable reward, the unpredictable notification, the infinite scroll. Every single feature was designed in a war room to steal one more minute of your attention. The education system. You grew up and taught you to sit still in rows, follow instructions without questioning them, wait for authority to tell you what to do next, and measure your worth by someone else's grading system. That is not education. That is conditioning. It was designed to produce obedient workers, not free thinkers, not creators, not warriors. Workers who show up on time, follow the rules, and never ask if the rules make sense. And when you finally entered the workforce, the system handed you debt. A mortgage, monthly payments, subscriptions, car loans, credit cards. Not because you needed all of it, but because debt is the most elegant chain ever invented. A man with a mortgage cannot afford to ask questions. A man with monthly payments cannot afford to walk away. A man in debt is a man who will show up every single morning and do what he is told. You were not born weak. You were made weak, systematically, deliberately, and profitably. Chapter 2. The 3 weapons. Let me show you the exact weapons they use. Because once you can name a weapon, you can defend against it. The first weapon is comfort. The sofa, the delivery food, the perfectly climate-controlled room, the streaming service with 10,000 options. Every single layer of comfort they provide makes you slightly less capable of tolerating discomfort. And a man who cannot tolerate discomfort cannot grow. It is that simple. The ancient samurai slept on hard floors, ate plain food, trained in rain and cold, not because they enjoyed suffering, but because they understood a fundamental truth that the modern world has buried. Every unnecessary comfort is a trade. You give up 1 degree of softness and you gain 1 degree of real strength. Every time you choose ease over effort, you are making a withdrawal from an account called your capability, and eventually that account runs empty. The second weapon is distraction. The average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That is once every 10 minutes of waking life. Your most powerful resource, your focused attention, is being stolen from you in 10-minute increments all day, every day by platforms that profit from your inability to concentrate. A focused man is the most powerful force on earth. A distracted man is the most manageable. The system is not competing for your money first. It is competing for your attention. Because whoever controls your attention controls what you believe, what you want, what you fear, and ultimately who you become. The third weapon is instant gratification. Everything is available immediately now. Food in 20 minutes. Entertainment in 1 click. Validation from strangers in seconds. Your brain is being systematically rewired to expect results without effort. Reward without sacrifice. Arrival without the journey. But here is the truth the system will never tell you. Everything worth having in this life is on the other side of delayed gratification. The strong body, the sharp mind, the meaningful career, the deep relationship. Every single thing that actually matters requires time, patience, and sustained discomfort. And every day your brain spends chasing instant reward is a day it becomes less capable of doing the hard things that build a real life. Chapter 3. The samurai came 400 years ago. A man named Miyamoto Musashi understood something about human nature that Silicon Valley has since turned into a weapon against you. Musashi was the greatest swordsman who ever lived. 61 duels. 61 victories. Never once defeated. And people always asked him the same question: what is your secret? His answer was always the same. He had no master. He had no teacher. He followed only the path. Musashi wrote in his final years, "Do not seek pleasure for its own sake." He was not telling you to suffer. He was telling you something far more important. A life built around the pursuit of comfort is a life that shrinks. Every day, every year, until you become a smaller and smaller version of what you were built to be. The samurai trained his body until it became a weapon. He sharpened his mind until it became a blade. He lived deliberately. Every action chosen, every habit intentional, every comfort examined before it was accepted. He trained in the rain when nobody was watching. He meditated before dawn when the rest of the world slept. Not for applause, not for followers, not for anyone's approval. For one reason only, because that is who he decided to be. And that decision, made over and over again in small daily moments that nobody witnessed, was the difference between a man who was remembered across 4 centuries and every man who was forgotten. Musashi also taught the concept of mashin, the empty mind. The mind that is not clouded by fear of failure, hunger for approval, or obsession with outcome. When Musashi walked into a duel, his mind was empty of everything except the present moment. No regret about yesterday. No anxiety about tomorrow. Just this moment. Just this action. Just this breath. And this is perhaps the most radical thing you can do in a world of infinite distraction. To be fully, completely, entirely present in what you are doing right now. Because that quality of presence is what separates the people who build extraordinary lives from the people who spend their lives watching other people build them. Chapter 4. The Way BAC Case. How do you fight back? The answer is not complicated. but it will not be easy. And that is the point. The first step is to declare war on comfort. Not all comfort, strategic comfort. Identify one thing you do every single day that makes you softer. The snooze button. The delivery food when your kitchen is full. The mindless scrolling for an hour before bed. Pick one. Eliminate it this week. Replace it with one hard thing. One cold shower. One morning run. 1 hour of deep focused work with the phone in another room. Just one. Every time you choose the hard thing over the easy thing, your brain records it. It builds evidence. Evidence that you are someone who does hard things. That evidence becomes identity. And identity becomes destiny. The man who does hard things every day becomes a hard man. And hard men are not easily broken by a world designed to break them. The second step is to protect your attention like your life depends on it. Because it does. The first 60 minutes of your morning are the most neurologically powerful moments of your entire day. Your brain is in a high plasticity state. Whatever you feed it in those 60 minutes shapes how you think, what you believe about yourself, and how you approach every challenge for the rest of the day. Feed it social media and anxiety and outrage, and you hand your most powerful mental hours to someone else's agenda. Feed it silence, movement, reading, and purposeful thought, and you compound your own power every single morning for the rest of your life. Guard those 60 minutes like they are the most valuable thing you own. Because they are. The third step is to build your body into a weapon. The modern world has made the human body soft, sedentary, and sick by design. Processed food, chairs, elevators, delivery services, every convenience removes one more reason for your body to be strong. And a physically weak man is an easily managed man. The samurai understood that the body and the mind are one. When you train the body through real physical discomfort, you are not just building muscle. You are building the mental architecture that allows you to push through every other form of discomfort life sends your way. Your body is not separate from your purpose. It is the vehicle for it. Treat it accordingly. The fourth step is to choose your purpose, or the system will choose it for you. The system's purpose for you is clear and simple. Consume, spend, scroll, obey, repeat. It does not need you to be great. It needs you to be a customer, a viewer, a user, a number on a dashboard somewhere. But you were not born to be a number. You were born with a specific set of gifts, a specific perspective, a specific capability that this world has never seen before and will never see again. Somewhere underneath all the noise and the comfort and the years of distraction, you already know what you are supposed to be doing with your time. That quiet voice has not gone away. It has just been drowned out. Silence the noise long enough and you will hear it again. And when you do, follow it without compromise. Chapter 5. The moment everything changes. Let me tell you about the moment everything changes. Not the grand dramatic transformation that movies show you. The quiet one. The one that happens when you are alone at night, phone in hand, scrolling through someone else's highlight reel, and for one brief second the noise stops. And in that silence a question appears. One simple, devastating question. Is this really the life I want? That question is the beginning, not the answer, just the question. Because a person who asks it honestly, without flinching, without immediately reaching for distraction to escape it, has already started to wake up. Because here is the truth that the system has worked very hard to keep you from discovering. You have never been weak. The system is simply very, very good at making you forget your strength. Every person you admire who has built something remarkable, they were not born with something you do not have. They were not dealt a better hand. They simply decided at some point to stop letting the world define what they were capable of. They chose to do the hard thing one day, and then again the next day, and then again the day after that. And those daily choices, piled on top of each other across weeks and months and years, built something that looked to everyone else like extraordinary talent or remarkable discipline, but was actually just the compounding result of ordinary decisions made consistently in the direction of growth. Conclusion: the modern world is designed to keep you weak. That is the truth. But it is not your destiny. It is the default setting. And you are not a default setting person. You were built for something harder and more meaningful than scrolling. You were built to create, to struggle, to endure, to grow, to become someone worth becoming. That capacity has never left you. It has just been buried under years of carefully engineered comfort and perfectly targeted distraction. Start today. Not Monday. Not when you feel ready. Today. Turn off the notifications for 1 hour. Put the phone in another room. Sit in silence for 5 minutes. Do 10 push-ups. Drink a glass of water. Read 1 page of a book that challenges you. Choose one hard thing and do it before you do anything easy. That is the beginning. One small choice in the direction of strength. Then another tomorrow. Then another the day after. And slowly, quietly, invisibly, the man who is made weak by a world designed to weaken him begins to become someone that world cannot touch. Drop a comment right now. Write these words: I choose strength. Not for me, for you. Because writing it publicly makes it real. Makes it a commitment you have made to yourself in front of witnesses. And public commitments change the way the brain works. The person who writes those words is already different from the person who just thinks them. One is a wish. The other is a declaration. And declarations are where real lives begin. Subscribe to this channel because every single week, I bring you the ancient wisdom and modern truth that the system does not want you to have. The tools, the mindset, the strategies that turn distracted men into focused ones and ordinary days into extraordinary lives. The modern world was designed to keep you weak, but you were designed for something far greater. Now go and prove it.